and I would mostly just like observe that when the other team kicks the ball really hard from quite a long way away and it goes exactly into the corner of the goal, you'll probably lose sometimes. Argentina made 3 marginal offsides goals. Oh, I didn't see that. That's rough. That's rough. I wonder if something like that can be like because you're calibrated wrong for how fast the defense is. Like you're getting a jump and you're expecting the defense to respond faster. I don't know. I don't know. Anchor's a very powerful relic, which doesn't really do that much against Act 1 elites, unfortunately. I guess it causes me to reach the elite fights with more health. That does something. The World Cup has a group stage where the teams play a round robin against each other, and then it has a elimination stage after that. There are a lot of writhes on this board, and there was a biased cognition. That's upsetting. I guess I'll undo my previous floor. Actually, I'm going to buy a Doom and Gloom. Debated. Could have gone for the curse build. Maybe I still can. Probably the worst part of being teachers, streamers, mayors, or anyone that has to deal with many people at one time is you have to repeat yourself an absurd amount of the time. I've seen many times that people who are very patient and sweet end up exasperated, explaining something for the 8th time and feeling bad, and a dejected look on the face of someone who's not trying to be problematic. For me, like, the struggle is that I would argue, and perhaps I'm wrong somehow, but I would argue that a large part of my streaming career is that I am that I have a unique approach to creating content, which lots of people enjoy, right? I think that that's a large part of why I got off the ground as a streamer, that people saw how I made content and wanted to watch it, and they weren't getting it in other places, so they came to my channel to watch the sort of content that I made, which is excellent, and I'm extremely blessed that that happened and everything. But if you have a unique way of making content and then your channel grows and gets exposed to more and more people who are watching you because, like, oh, Jorbs is a popular streamer. Or, oh, I want to watch like a really good Slay the Spire streamer, and I've heard that Jorbs is a really good Slay the Spire streamer or whatever. The choices that you make as a content creator which are unique become, like, combative and contested. Like, your audience starts being like, well, nobody else disallows backseating. Your choice to do that must be wrong. Or, you know, any number of other things like that. Predator boss. There's an interesting, like, transitive? There's an interesting changing point as a streamer, where the things that make your community unique start to be things that people are very critical and negative about. Nice Swasqui. Anything as a lot of people do disallow backseating? Oh yeah, I know. I'm very aware of that. Mostly the Spire audience was not used to that though, for whatever reason. Or at least some portions of it weren't, right? Inflection point, that's the one. I'm gonna go double Doom and Gloom. One of the things about Doom and Gloom is you have to evoke the Dark Orb somehow. Which means you need to evoke more orbs. I haven't been offered any other orbs, so I'm just going to, I guess, make lots of Dark Orbs. I wouldn't describe it as the most promising approach. Like a Glacier would be really good, but, you know, we'll see how it goes. "58 heart kills now. Thank you. I didn't update the title. We got the inauspicious 30 gold Maw-bank. What triggered the backseating theme? I don't remember. Something I find interesting to talk about though. I'm gonna take a consume. It's not a great card right now. Yeah, it's not a great card right now. It's like an okay card, and it makes Capacitor much better, which is nice because I have Mummified Hand, so I'd like Capacitor to be good. Can I have anyone try to backseat my book writing? Yeah, actually. I had a few editors, and like, there's a certain amount of graciousness that's required as an editor, where you like have to understand that you don't necessarily understand as much about what the author is trying to write or the author's audience as they do. And I had like 4 people demonstrate that they understood that very well, and 1 person demonstrate that they really, really, really didn't understand that. Which is interesting. I think Writhe is bad enough that I get rid of it over taking a Cold Snap, which is a lot, because Cold Snap's very good. I also think Centennial Puzzle is probably better than Frozen Eye here. I don't know how much I care about the order of my deck at the moment. Feels like not that much. You can get paid to backseat writers. Yeah, pretty nice, huh? I wonder who the oldest full-time streamer is. There are streamers who have died of old age. Nice, Bronco. Isn't a commentator just backseating a sports game? Honestly, yeah. Like, largely. It's really interesting, like, there are absolutely little drama things where commentators like overstep in what they're saying and then piss people off. And some commentators as personalities get really big and then like kind of fuck things up for the athletes they're talking about sometimes. Commentators is like a lens through which people understand a sport are a really interesting phenomenon to me. And definitely not always a very positive one. What do we recursion plus later? Depending on how the deck evolves. Recursion plus fits nicely if I have an excess of card draw. Copy Dripper might be okay here. I still have 4 strikes. I do have a Toy Ornithopter, and I'm Defect, so self-repair is findable, and with Mummified Hand, I'm very happy to pick it too. Hey Train, how are you? What have you been up to? It's been a while. Used to mute TV commentators and listen to sports radio commentators because somehow they talked less. That's... yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Funny and perhaps also relatable. God, what about the 2-point conversion in football? I feel like that's a really good example where like the narrative that is being made around a game is causing people to play it a certain way. And for those of you who don't know about American football, you can, after you score, you get an extra point, and you can try to get 1 extra point and you'll get it like 99% of the time pretty much, or you can go for 2 and you get to like close enough to 50% of the time that it should be the case that you go for 2 sometimes and go for 1 the rest of the time. But for a very, very, very long time, nobody ever went for 2. Because if they failed, they got criticized for taking a risky play that was clearly wrong because it had failed. And if they succeeded, they got criticized for taking a risky play and just getting lucky, basically. Or like no winning. The extra point was moved back, it's true. I wonder if I take Cool-Headed over Seek. I don't think I take Cool-Headed over Seek. I keep on dying in Act 4 to the Act 4 elites. Does that mean I should take Cool-Headed more or Seek more? I don't know. Probably both. I could also just take Static Discharge, and it's honestly not that unreasonable. I'm gonna take Seek. There are no powers here. I could just take a Cool-Headed now, though. Dying to what in Act 4? Turn 2. Turn 2's kind of messed up. Similar things happened with going for it on 4th and short. True. Also true. It's better to lose conventionally in terms of job security. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That is an adept way of stating it. Oh. I should have gotten defrag there. Take a recycle, start upgrading all my card draw. Kind of into it. Kind of a lot into it. Alright, let's do it. Two-point conversions are all about humans remembering the bad sides of variance. Possibly true. Possibly some other things. I love that I'm out here increasing Cœur de Pirate. Cœur de Pirate. Cœur de Pirate. I can't speak French. Anyway, I love that I'm like an evangelist for her music. It brings me great joy. It sure seems real good. There was a high school coach who never punted and always had 2-point conversions as was state champ most years. True, although possibly our approach to gathering this data has been slightly biased. Two-point thing also involves coaches trying to avoid looking like they made a play calling mistake. Yes. Yeah, I think so, definitely. I will take one. That's fine. Does Defect have enough card draw to take another recycle here? I don't know. Let's find out. I think so. I believe so. Feeling Banjos asks for a capo when you don't have one. You should get a capo. Seems like a simple solution. More recycles makes your card draws better. Servernox, thanks 11 months. Appreciate it. Deck has stacked up very nicely against this fight so far. Takes a little while before Recycle makes your draws better, unless you're doing something with the energy it generates, in which case, like, cool. Remember when I died on Defect the other day and blamed 2 recycles? Clearly no. Clearly I do not. Pay 4 health for a lightning orb right now. I also get to draw cards, I guess. $10, $18. It's a good amount of damage to take. Making the correct decision every time you go for it / punt has nearly nothing to do with actually winning a state championship. Definitely a limited amount. It's a lot more about having the best players and stuff like that, yeah. Probably. Alright. I made it to the collector fight. I'm gonna take an upgrade, a cool-headed. Do I want to consume once? Probably. I might want to consume twice here, actually. Have you considered simply having better players? There were scandals in my school district when I went to high school about our football coaches like paying for kids who lived outside of our school zone to play on the team, and doing things like renting apartments for them inside the school zone for them to live in and stuff like that. It was kind of ludicrous. I went to a high school full of wealthy people. Some people just wanted more. God, and then there's college football, where it's like the athletes are basically working full-time professional sport athlete type jobs, and they're just like not paid. That's cool too. I forgot about that one. Were high school sports profitable, or were people just rich and cared about status? I have no idea. I don't get high school football. I do not understand it, and I'm not going to pretend to. College football players can sell their likeness now and make millions in college. Nice. Yeah. That's recent, yeah. A sensible response to, you know, the universe. I don't understand the epic highs and lows of high school football. I was on a train recently, and these two like middle-aged guys were talking about high school football. And there was like a 16-year-old kid or whatever on the train who was a high school football player. And as I overheard the conversation, it turned out that he was like one of the major prospects in high schools in the state at the moment and shit, and was like in talks with colleges about where he was going to go and stuff like that. And it was kind of fucking weird for like two maybe 40 or 50-year-old men to be talking to a 16-year-old about this shit. I don't know. I found it kind of weird. I maybe meant to take creative AI here. So here's the thing. I have infinite block and damage if I find a turbo. But I do not currently have a turbo. I'm just going to take Seek, right? I'm just going to take Seek. I don't need a creative AI. There's so many other ways that I can win. Pyramid seems fine. Your friend who was in the NFL quit immediately when the brain scan studies came out. That is impressive. I feel like, yeah, I feel like it's impressive to make such a huge change in your life like that. You're in the NFL and quit too? Okay. I see how it is. Oh wait, was that a joke? Fuck. I don't know if we're being serious or not. We weren't being serious. Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's good. Good joke. I don't know, I've met people who play in the NFL. And some of them are pretty cool people. It wouldn't surprise me that much if somebody had actually quit. You weren't joking? Alright, good. Good, we're on the same page. It's everybody else who's weird. You don't think it's odd? You feel like sports are a fun community item. You've coached softball in your community for years. You bump into girls all the time that you've either coached or coached against. You feel it's kind of natural to bring up future plans on how season is going. I think there's like... There's sport as a community thing, which is awesome. But that wasn't what I felt I was observing. I felt like I was observing sport as a spectacle, where the spectacle was based around a, like, teenager who just shouldn't have been the center of spectacle yet because he was too young. That was my struggle. The recursion's interesting. Recursion actually doesn't really do anything. If I make a plasma orb, it's already enough. Just take a compile driver. You need to put higher value on Pyramid. Pyramid's pretty good. I would recommend taking Pyramid when it is offered. The music's been way too loud the entire stream. Y'all have just been jamming. I respect it. Thank you for bringing that up. I turned it up to troll you about something recently. I don't remember what it was. Maybe I was playing Baba Yetu or something. And then I forgot to turn it down again, I guess. Oops. Oh yeah, take 5. That's the one. Yeah. Yeah, that happened like at the end of last stream. Well then. I think Pyramid does reward certain sort of deck building. Well, I don't really think that. That's, I think, a thing that... Okay, I said I think again. Hold on. I'm working my way up to this. I have to say this without saying I think. Maybe it was just a thing I think. Anyway, Pyramid definitely likes a certain type of deck building, which is maybe not super normal for someone playing like through the Ascensions the first time. Pyramid benefits a lot from having cards which match well against particular turns of the game. And understanding which turn to play them on. And if you're more focused on building a more linear strategy, Pyramid is not necessarily as good. Although it's really strong in linear types of strategies too. It's just kind of pretty good. Not to mention prioritizing removes. Yeah, that's probably a thing too. I'm not sure I even like think about that as a thing anymore. But I certainly prioritize card remove very, very, very highly. I think I prioritize it too highly, but who knows? I'll find out in another few thousand hours what I think about it. For now, I am enjoying trying it out. Abacus is like sweet, but given that I'm just playing Cool-Headed over and over again, it's really not necessary for my Infinite. I still don't have an infinite. Is an observation that I could make at this moment. Maybe I should take Abacus then. What if I took Creative AI so I could recycle the powers every turn? That'd be sort of fun. Wish Twitch had a system to allow viewers to independently adjust their personal volume ratio between the streamer and the background music. I feel like that could happen. I feel like that would... I mean, it can obviously happen in terms of, like, the technology. It's whether people would do it or not that's up in the air, right? I feel like it could happen. Am I making a video about the upsides and downsides of boss relics? Nope, I am in a defect run. This is defect, and we're just playing a regular run of Slay the Spire at the moment. Damn. Sometimes I got Frost Orb there. Copyright is weird. It's just weird. It's just a weird thing. Actually, music is weird. I want to go a step backward. It's very strange that I'm currently listening to, well, the Slay the Spire soundtrack, obviously. But also, if I were, I might be listening to, like, Taylor Swift or something, who is somebody I do not know. I'm gonna take Blizzard Plus. Since my plan is to play lots of cool headeds, and I don't really have a damage solution better than playing Zap, this seems reasonable to me. I understand why that question happened now that I've thought about it more. It's because I did a bunch of boss swaps, right? Probably. That's probably why that question happened. That makes sense. Took me a while to think that through. Why did your message get content blocked? Don't know, what was your message? Oh. I can probably guess what your message was. It was because I don't want you to send that message on my channel. Just the simple reason that would make sense. I made it so that people couldn't send messages about the DMCA like 9 months ago after I got bored of reading like random people sending me messages about the DMCA. People sure think they know a lot about it. YMCA. Burns have ruined everything. I can't believe I took a damage in this fight. Also, I don't have dual cast. Still not over. Almost over, though. Actually, let's do this. I feel like that's lethal. I get to bottle a Seek Plus, which is fun. I wish it could get better things than what it's going to get, but you know what? It's trying. Biased Cog is so good here. Imagine getting Biased Cog here. Oh, imagine getting Biased Cog here. I already have a Core Surge and a bottled Seek Plus. Oh, God. That'd be very hot. How does Twitch moderation tell the difference between gambling and roguelikes? Is there a difference between gambling and roguelikes? And yeah, thanks for the 8 months. Appreciate it. Tell me the difference between these two pictures. They're the same picture. Is there a difference between gambling and anything at all? Is there a difference between gambling and anything at all? So what are my options? That everything is gambling or that not everything is gambling? It's closer than you might think. Oh shit, that wasn't recycled, that was dual cast. Alright, Blizzard. Hey, it's a biased cognition. Okay. I feel like I fucked that turn up, but it worked. Is it unethical to build a casino but run it for charity? Yes. Jorbs solves decades-old ethical questions. World Repent, thanks for the 8 months! Appreciate it. I do feel like a lot of the, like, but see, ethics is actually tricky, gotcha, things in the modern era are, like, actually addressed in Ethics 101. Like, we actually have been studying this thing for quite a long time and have worked out the, like, things that would occur to you in the first 5 minutes of thinking about it. Would I steal bread to feed my family? Of course. I'm stealing bread right now. This is pre-recorded. Zephyr needs food. People confuse ethics with actions where I can claim the outcome that theoretically maximizes utility. Yeah, reading the, like, what are the problems with utilitarianism section of the Wikipedia article about utilitarianism would, like, probably more than double a lot of strategy gamers' understanding of ethics. Thanks for the 100 bits, Go-Grit Blaster! Go-Grit Blaster, that does not sound healthy. Thank you, Lead Onsen. Effective altruism is something worth studying. Effective altruism has not been having a good month. Worth studying, like, in terms of, like, can people be part of a cult, or... How is effective altruism like a cult? I feel like it might be more useful to, like, spend 30 minutes trying to find a way that it isn't like a cult. It's a weird thing because there are a lot of, like, very cool people who want to make a positive change in the world, who are interested in getting updates on whether buying mosquito nets or deworming children is a better way to do it. And that's really their only interaction with it as a philosophy. People are trying to make their limited time/effort affect the most positive change they can. Yeah. I don't know, does that sound like a normal thing to you, I guess, as like a starting reference point? Wait until next turn to use a Seek, I guess. Thanks for the 100 bits, Gogurt Blaster. Gogurt Blaster, I am not making that decision. You are making that decision. Again, ethics not actually that complicated sometimes. I love the start of this comment, Hyperpape. Probably worth distinguishing the basic idea of being deliberate about doing good in an effective way from the rest of it, the billionaires and long-termism and all the weird stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Is that a thing that we usually do with cults? Maybe we should. I'm not sure. Turbo means I'm actually infinite now. Cool. Nice pickup right at the end. I need this one, and I need this one. My favorite effective altruism rabbit hole was learning about like the deworming stuff, which is a lot. So there was a study done in like the 1980s in I think Kenya, but I may be incorrect about that, where they were like, we want to improve the living conditions of this population. How could we do it? I have an idea. What if we tried to get kids in school more often? Oh, look at that. The kids are missing school because they're sick. What if we gave them deworming tablets? Because a lot of the time they're sick because they have parasites. And if we did that, maybe they'd go to school more. You think that was India? No. It wasn't, but it will be. That's the right twist to the story. So anyway. There were a bunch of weird things about this study. I'm not qualified to comment on the study really, but my understanding is that it was done like without epidemiologists involved, which seems weird for a study of like sickness. Also, maximizing the time spent in school of kids doesn't necessarily like improve their lives, and that wasn't really addressed by the study or anything like that. There are a bunch of things about how like if you send people into schools to measure how often kids are there, probably the kids will show up more often, you know? Is there someone they're measuring it? School children being very similar to electrons. And yeah, all that stuff happened, and they found that giving kids deworming tablets greatly improved school attendance, in their opinion. And this was a study done in like the 1980s in Kenya, I believe, again. And that study has since resulted in things like, what is the India deworming initiative? Oh, the national deworming program is only $23 million worth of deworming or something. But anyway, it's sort of like junk science. It doesn't make any sense, and it's on the front page of the Effective Altruism. What are the best things I can donate my money to? Shit. Because it turns out, possibly, that the method of analysis being used to work out what to do in the world to make the most possible good isn't very good. Saberspank, hello! I didn't really do how silly the entire thing is justice. It's hard to talk about complicated things. I really want to just like sort of tank damage for a while and then dual cast this. I'm not that far away, right? I'm just like a couple of turns away. I will have to tank some damage, but I have a self-repair, and I don't think the other boss fights are challenging. Yep, whatever. Dewormer only really helps if you have worms. Yeah, well, makes sense, right? Also, if you have worms, like, typically people will go get dewormer, like, because that's what they do. Etc. Goodbye, Time Eater. Long-termism is like so weird that I can't even really understand or speak about it. It's so fucking bizarre. I just don't get it. Long-termism is like... It's like... Hold on. Hold on, I'll get there. Long-termism is like... Okay, so you start with the happiness of future people is as valuable as the happiness of current people, right? I think that's... Right? Sorry, that's ludicrous. But I think that's where you start. I think. That seems wrong from the start. Yeah, it does. it's not right. But I believe that's like where you start from. And then because you started from there, you say things like, therefore we need to make sure we colonize the stars or whatever. Because if we colonize the stars, then people will expand across the universe and that will be a good thing. And there's also like an ends justify means thing going on there, right? Where it's like, because of that, it's okay to, yeah, do a lot of things which aren't okay to do. This is the same thing for hearing the term long-termism and guessing what it means. Well, I heard the term long-termism like 2 years ago and then spent like some substantial amount of my life trying to understand what it meant. I didn't just like hear it yesterday. But if you think that I'm significantly missing something, then you can feel free to give your opinion or whatever. Will Maskell's most recent book basically concluded we should do more to prevent virus, nuclear risk, centralization of power for the few, lock-in of ideas, and other very reasonable things. I think Will Maskell is, so I haven't read the book, but my understanding is that he's like somebody who takes this idea and applies it somewhat reasonably. But I think if that is your exposure to this concept alone, you're getting a much more reasonable lens on it than what I have gotten in trying to understand what people mean when they talk about it. Which, like, I guess maybe means we're just talking about two different things, in which case I don't know if either of us is wrong. But I think perhaps what you might be saying is that, like, the idea is being co-opted by other people who don't really understand it to espouse ludicrous things, which is, like, kind of also what I'm saying a little bit. It's just I'm identifying the people who have adopted the idea and are saying ludicrous things as the people attached to it, whereas you're saying, no, actually, like, somebody else is attached to it. I don't know, though. Your experience with effective altruists is they overwhelmingly kind, thoughtful people who care a lot about making the world better. Yes, that's my experience with them too. At what point of time does a line of logic become long-termism? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Philanthropy is a fancy way to launder money. Drive a hard bargain. Could be onto something, I don't know. Okay, Nair's Noz. Something that's always, like, I've I've spent a lot of time trying to work for charitable causes and shit in my life. And something that's always been difficult for me in interfacing with effective altruism is like how hard I find it to work out which charities are right to support and how complex my decision-making process is for that. How like personal and interpersonal as well, and multifaceted the entire thing is, versus the idea of like jumping on a homepage and reading a list that's like, these are the top 10 causes. And often I like very heavily disagree with what effective altruism says that we should do. But there's also like an attachment of like, well, we used a scientific method to decide this, so we're right. Which is difficult to relate to or respond to or whatever. Support the charities that help others. It's that easy. Most of the stuff is not actually testable. Yeah. The scientific method is sort of like not good at discovering the truth in a lot of situations, which is something we've discovered. I mean, maybe we always knew that, but we especially know it now. I don't know. It's like a thing that we kind of came up with in the 1700s, and it can kind of do like one thing okay. The culture around the scientific method is really interesting too. Fresh ice soda. Is there a reason for not blizzarding? I want nunchaku online. Cannot rest. Let's do something else then. Let's do this. Pile driver is pretty decent. Card removes also are pretty decent. I don't know. They're both fine. I don't think I need pellets for any reason here. I already have the core surgery. It would be fine. It would be okay. It would not be terrible to pick up the pellets, but I don't really feel awful for missing it. It's just got skim, should be fine. Wasn't fine. Oh dear. Actually, potentially problematic next turn. Yeah, that's bad. What is up with my defect runs? This fight and my defect runs are not getting along well recently. This conversation's complicated enough that now I'm reading comments and have no idea what you're referring to anymore. It's a problem. Small brain streamer. I don't know if you're like responding to someone else in chat or responding to something I said. And if I said it, I don't know when I said it. Am I like dead? Should I have kept Fuelcast? Probably. Good grief. We're having 20 concurrent conversations here. Try to keep up. Yeah? An interesting thing about utilitarianism for me is like expressions of certainty and also what you intend to do with whatever level of certainty that you have. So let's say you have data that says like some sort of thing will have some sort of effect, but everything has a cost and a benefit, so you have to consider what's the cost of doing this thing as well. The cost could be really high. One of the tricky puzzles in utilitarianism is working out how exactly you incorporate concerns about whether you might be wrong. Because presumably you might be wrong. I didn't die yet. That's good. Assume you're right until someone else proves you wrong. It's going to be really awkward when you've like done something which has killed 1 million people because you decided that it was clearly incorrect to shut down during the pandemic, and then someone else finds out that you were wrong the entire time. It's gonna be like, oh, whoops. I guess 1 million people didn't have to die. But, I had a great amount of faith in some garbage analysis that I read on the internet once. Relatable? Yeah. Me every day, am I right? Trains are okay. Seems that problem isn't unique to utilitarianism. Sure. That is one of the things that people have observed while trying to solve the problem. A lot of ethics is based on, like, I don't know, like thousands of years of human interaction and observing how it works, instead of being based on, like, a study that was done in 2 months in Kenya 30 years ago. So I think a decent amount of the time there's, like, I don't know, maybe it's like the 2-point conversion thing. Go full circle. Maybe we say it's okay to make a mistake if you're doing it out of, like, a philosophy of kindness that has stood the test of time, but not okay if you're doing it because of some shit that John Stuart Mill came up with recently. It's called a callback. Nice. Played Consume quite a bit. Consume got a decent amount of play this run. I'm enjoying my transition into a political hot take streamer. I feel like I had a huge amount of potential, which I've only just unlocked. Perhaps I should, like, be the person in charge of sending mankind to the stars. Do not read this message, or you'll become a weep. I keep reading the message. You vote Jorbs for God Emperor? Okay, that might be an indicator that you're in a cult. Maybe this is a cult. Just something to keep an eye on, I don't know. Does Mini Jorbs have similar opinions? Few people ask Mini Jorbs for his opinions. It's very unfair, but them's the beats. I, for one, don't feel like this is a cult. Cultist. Yeah. Yeah. Wonder how strong Blizzard would have been right now. I should call it. You've been in chat many times and Mini Jorbs has still never responded to chat. Yeah, I have. Like, I respond to chat all the time. Not always big Jorbs talking. That blowhard, God. What are you looking at? You didn't even know Defect could go infinite. This is pretty common, Defect infinite. Turbo recycle. Makes 3 energy. Well, depends. I guess it makes 2 energy for the purposes of this, which is enough to play Skim and Cool-Headed. And you can fit in a zap, so you have infinite damage and a block. I think the thing that you observe when you observe that going infinite happens a lot on Spire isn't that like going infinite is easy, it's that Act 1 and 2 aren't hard enough. Like, getting to take Skim and Recycle as early as I get to in runs isn't because... Like, it's because I don't die when I do that. So I think, for me, the thing that's missing is enemies that are strong enough to make me die if I do that in Act 1 and 2. And for me, it's just like, yeah, like everything kept on getting buffed and buffed and buffed, and eventually we got to a point where they weren't doing that anymore. All Act 1 hallway fights are now Gremlin Knob. A beautiful improvement to the game. Excellent thinking. I love it. I love it. Where'd Zap go? Did I recycle it? What's happening? Oh, I didn't play Turbo yet. Okay. My brain like turned off for a second there. I do feel that the best streams are the ones where you don't notice that there's gameplay going on. Gameplay is kind of embarrassing. Every time you played 12 cards, all enemies gain 2 strength and your turn ends. But not just the enemies in that fight, also the enemies later on in the run. I love it. I believe eventually finding infinite is bad for the game. Yes. Yeah. The game should end exactly when you achieve infinite. It shouldn't keep going after you've done that. Did I see Gordian Quest? What happened? I've played it a few times. It's amazing to you the level I can play Spire at while deeply discussing complex topics. Gosh, I feel like you're being too generous. But thank you.